Hey folks, welcome. This video is on some of SQL's most popular functions that are known as aggregate functions. An aggregate function is a function that could be working on several records at a time, or it takes into account several records at a time. So let's look at that. But before we get started, let's just take a look at this table. And while I'm pulling up these records, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you love the video, please consider subscribing or sending me, a bag of cash. Just kidding. What I'm hoping is that you guys will get a bag of cash from watching this, because I'd love to see you all get programming jobs for SQL Server. If you already have one, great. Hopefully this will make you even better at your job. So let's get started. We have an employee table, real simple. Here's the employee name. Here's their department. There's not that many departments. You see they repeat HR, HR, HR. Here's the salaries. Everything in this table is made up. You notice that I have a big gap up here. That's on purpose, because see how I have stuff lined up, like the from clause is always in the same place usually. Okay, here's how these things work. If I run an analytical function without a where clause, what's going to happen is if I do this, if I say select max salary from emp, it's just going to give me the biggest salary in the table, nothing else. Sum sal, that's just the name that I'm giving it right here. That's all that is. So that's almost $1 million a year. Now, if I run the min, oh, this is going to be depressing, 18,000. Could you pay your bills with that? Not in the U.S. What about the average? 171,000. Now this, you notice that it has like an irrationally long number, six digits. Normally that would be like 0.37 if you're talking about US dollars. Here's the thing, we're not going to take the time to show how to format that. I assume you guys know how to do that, but we're just not going to waste the time. Let me show you what happens when we do a group by. So we just did the aggregate functions. Oh, I never showed you the, yeah, I did show you the average. Okay. Let me show you what happens when we use a group by. If I want to group by the department, I add the word department to the select list, okay? And then I've got the max salary. What this will do, it's going to show me every department one time, and it's going to order by the department because I'm telling it to here. I'm saying order by the first column. So it's going to show me every department in order, and in this case, it's going to show me the biggest salary. Boom, advertising, 32,000. Don't go into that line of work. Cafeteria, 46. HR, no thanks. Legal, mailroom. Software, 250,000. Sales is more, but, I would kill myself if I was in sales. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. That's not funny. True, but not funny. Okay, now the minimums for everybody. This is real depressing. 18,000 for advertising, 23 for the cafeteria, 19 for the mailroom. Well, that kind of probably tracks with real life. But the lowest software guy is still 134,000. And again, that's my cat in the background. He really likes SQL queries. Okay, so now we have the average, and if we look at that, there you go. These are the averages. So that's great. That's how you do the order by. It's the department, every department, what's the average. And you can actually run these all together if you wanted to, in one query. And it would look like this. I have everything indented for the sake of this. You could put that all on one line if you wanted to, but why would you? Now it has everything together. So if you did it right, this number should always be in between the max and the min for that department, and of course it will be. Lastly, what I wanted to show you is how to do an analytical function. An analytical function is where you take any of your aggregate functions and you add the over word. And have you ever seen this kind of language in a SQL statement? Maybe you've seen it but didn't know what it was. Well, this is what the big boys use. This is what the adults use. Over and partition by. Why? Because these different lines have a lot of firepower that you won't have anywhere else. In other words, if you wanted to do what this thing is about to do, you would have to have temp tables, variables, loops, and everything. But watch what this does. Okay, I'm going to move this over here a little. Not that it really helps, just felt like doing it. And let me move this up here. What this is doing is, first of all, it partitions everything. It's almost like grouping it, but that's a bad word to use. All the advertising records come first, but watch what it does. It's sort of like, if you're familiar with the idea of a running total, Every time you look at your checking account or credit card statement, that's what it is. It's just it has positive and negative, credits and debits. In this first record, the salary says 18,000. These analytical functions now, what they're going to do is they're going to take into account the first record. That's the max, that's the min, that's the average, because it's only one record. But when we get to the second record, now it's looking at the first two records. We got 18,000 and 32,000. What's the max? 32. What's the min? 18. What's the average? Well, it's 50,000 divided by 2, 25,000. When we get to the third record, it takes all three of these records into account. What's the highest? 32. What's the lowest? 18. What's the average? 25,000, blah, da, 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 da. And then we get to the last one, 32,000. That's still the max. The min is still 18, but the average changed slightly. As soon as we get to cafeteria, it starts over. Now we're at 31,000. Remember, it starts over, so the max is 31, the min is 31, and the average is 31. But then when we take these two into account together, well, the max is still 31, but the minimum is now 23. And of course, you could do this in your head. The average is 27. So you see what it does is it gives you this running total, not running total, but a running max, a running min, and a running average, but just based on this department, or just based on this department. So these analytical queries, you have to know them because they give you a lot of firepower that if you had to do this by hand, it would take you all day. Okay? And then the code would be impossible for someone else to read, quickly and succinctly. But this here, it says it all, like what you're trying to do. So the reason you have to know these is because if you want to get a job where, I'm not talking about a full stack job, but if you want to get a SQL job, this is going to be on the interview. Even if they don't make you go to a keyboard and code it, they may ask you to write down some pseudocode or explain how you would do it. And you have to know this stuff. And trust me, you do use it on the job, okay? Okay, last but not least, analytical functions are also known as window functions. Why? Well, think of this whole record set as a big building, okay? A big rectangular building. And think of this chunk here for the max for this department as a small rectangular window. It's not simple. That's a window. That's a window. That's a window. And that's a window. I think you get it. Okay, guys. Again, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you love this video, please consider either joining up and subscribing or maybe adopting me. I have a lot of really heavy food requirements because I'm a developer. All right, guys, go practice, practice, practice. Set up some online interviews. Even if you don't pass the interview, you'll know what you need to work on. It's very important, okay? And then go land yourself the perfect SQL job. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.